Hello, welcome back. This is Sensorium, #Sensoriumlive, and we're continuing our rock and cool summer virtual vibe. Yes, today is the 8th of September. Some places it's winter or end of winter, heading to spring. Other places it's summer extending into fall. And why do I say that? I'll tell you in a minute why I say that. Well, I'll tell you right now. Today we'll be speaking with our guests, our esteemed guests are coming from Sao Paulo, Brazil, and from Buenos Aires, Argentina. We're going to talk to Pablo Lopo, who is the founder and the papa of the patient, I believe. Pablo will correct me when I introduce him in. Of an amazing project, and his co-founder and partner is Mariano Lopez. They have this amazing project called Storm. Storm. I'm using a little bit of a German-Russian accent. Storm. What is this? What is Storm? Storm is a social impact project that uses technology and research and development. I'm not going to get too deep into explaining about this amazing project. But I'll let the guys tell us about it a bit. But let me tell you why they're in our studio today. Why we've invited them in. We met in Davos in 2020, this year, in the other 2020, the one before COVID, before social distancing and quarantining, and we co-hosted an event with them, a party with them, with Matt Sorum, the drummer from Guns N' Roses, and we got to meet these guys, and really. Everything, man. It just was all about the same thing. We're talking about life. We're talking about making this a better place to live. And we are doing a social virtual reality project, as you know. We believe that through music, through dance, through communication, we can actually make things a little bit better in life. Later on this month, I'll be speaking about how social virtual reality can help people with who need mental health practitioners. Sitting home, you can actually virtually immerse into a digital world and overcome trauma and PTSD. These guys here are not just focusing on the virtual, they're focusing on reality, making reality a better, smoother, cooler place. And something I mentioned to the guys a little bit earlier before we came on live here was, if we're not making this a better world, then we're just being lazy. We're being irresponsible. We have kids, we have a present, we have a past, and we have, most importantly, a future, which we must make better to pass on to the next generation. So, with that, I'm going to just give it off to Mariano. We'll be seeing Mariano, and we'll be hearing Pablo. Technology being such as it is, we cannot have two video feeds at the same time. So, welcome Mariano, welcome Pablo to Sensorium Live Studio.
Hello, everyone. I would love to hear from the master pilot Pablo now, if it's okay to introduce a little bit. Yeah, master pilot.
And there's no one better than you to do that.
No, okay. Let's try to do like a little intro, but I don't want to pitch the project, because probably that it's boring for you, for us, and for everyone listening. So we don't want to go into, I don't know, ready-made lines about the project, but there's some things that we like to share, and probably it's about culture, like you said, like your project. It's about trying to understand these thin boundaries between the real and what we're calling digital, and there's a big place for nature, we think, in the middle, like how we understand nature, and what is the nature of reality and what is the nature of the digital. So what we're really trying to do here is we're trying to make those boundaries with some level of opacity, so we can try to operate in the digital landscape and create like a positive impact in what we call the real one, or the real landscape. So maybe that's some like short introduction on what we do from my end.
Okay, well, can I ask you, Mariano or Pablo, how did Storm come about? What was the the stimulus for creating this project?
Yeah, Pablo, why don't you share?
Why, this is a hard one. So
It is.
I think that after, but this is the story of my life, of Mariano's life, and everybody else that is in this, we call spaceship, this family life, because I have been through some stuff that brought me here. I'm sure that Mariano and as well, but basically, I always enjoy to see people happiness, and to see that everybody can share, happiness. Everybody can have the same kind of opportunity in life, the same kind of opportunity to develop their potential. Okay, so that was my passion since the beginning. I don't want to, and somehow life brought me to this. I started like in 2004. I think this was the very first MVP for Storm as a project, as a company, and get a little bit stronger when I met Mariano and René in 2010. I think it was 2010, 2011, and in 2012, when my son got sick, I decided to stop everything else that I was doing and set the company and say, okay, from now on, I want to leave doing this. I want to use technology to bring some amazing projects to life, projects that can rebalance some things and can, find new ways to do old things. And that's how it starts, more or less. It was a passion to, united with the story of my life. And when I met all these wonderful people, and we all share the same desire to rebalance things, to redesign things. And that's what we have now. It's a lab where we redesign things. We design rules, we design markets, and building tools, using everything we have to philosophy, technology, will, like you just said. So this is how it starts. We end up here. We
Right.
just end up here doing this. Yeah.
So obviously you have this lab. It's a social impact. So what we're trying to do, and as I said in the introduction, is make this a better reality. In a lot of ways, technology has not always been our friend. Technology has done amazing things for humankind. At the same time, technology has been abused. It has been misused. Technology. I was speaking to someone earlier about how social networking, and we lose so much in our world by staring at our phones. You walk down the street, people literally walk down the streets throughout the world staring at their screen, their smartphone, missing what's going on around them. If you see something you don't like, hurry up, look into your photo of a cat, or look into the latest liking something. But that has caused such social isolation to the point where we've become irresponsible for our future. And I watched a video that you guys created, and in the end it said, find the others. And I think that's amazing because, there was a project I was involved with many, many years ago, back in like 1992, 93, working in a small house in Newark, New Jersey, with a guy who actually left the priesthood. He fell in love, and he left, and he married his wife. And they created a home where they helped babies who were born HIV positive. Now, that was a very small project, very cool project in Newark, New Jersey, which is a tough neighborhood. But it was just it wasn't scalable because it was so hard. It cost so much money to reach out and deliver a message to other people. Now, what you're doing, find the others, you're taking the technology, using it as a vehicle to reach others and also to change the world. So go across, would you say that you're a borderless project, a government, no government, no bureaucracies are messing you up. You see a problem, you use your passion and the technology for change. Is this a fair description?
Man, amazing. You put so many interesting things. Like, I think that we can spend probably 2 hours just with your comment, because you point out like a lot of pain points that we are totally dealing with on the everyday life. And let me catch up with a few of those.
Okay, sure.
Before we even go into define the others thing. One thing that I think it was very interesting that you said is about digital identity, you know, like how are we operating, and also about like the use or misuse of technology, because we were saying, and we like to say that technology can enhance and enable us to do a lot of things, but I think that it's amazing what you're saying, like to have a little critique on the environment, because it's so easy to jump into the buzzwords and to go crazy around blockchain, Bitcoin, side chains, and SDKs and everything. But it, aren't we just creating the new version of the old regime somehow? Like, so it also sometimes it comes down to that. And if you think about it, and if you hear people like Ben Gretzel and a lot of people that are leading the artificial intelligence technology, what do you hear? Do you hear a lot of critique also, like trying to think about what are we using artificial intelligence, for example, nowadays? We're just using it for military crazy development and research project. We are using it for advertising, for selling shit that maybe we don't even like or we don't want. We're using it for gambling or for even porn, you know. So what are we doing with technology, and what is those uses or misuses of technology? So I would love to leave that on a side for a moment to try to go into this find the others thing. So it's actually taken from a Timothy Leary quote, so in which he's trying to address something that is very complicated for us. Actually, it's not an easy spot that we're choosing, because it's way easier to say that we are all one and we just want to save the world and we want to make it a better place. But actually, what is behind that phrase is that maybe we have different takes on things. And we're talking about, like, we're okay with differences, but what we're looking for is we're trying to look for similar or like-minded people that want to engage the way that we want to move forward a few proposals. So the actual quote says something that maybe you're going to find yourself in the same cafeteria of a lot of people. Maybe you're going to see yourself in the streets with a lot of people, but there's something inside you that thinks that a lot of things around you are not okay. So, and we see a lot of optimism, you know, in the scene, because we know that selling happiness is also the best way of marketing, whatever. But we're not here to sell happiness. A lot of times with Pablo, we spend like a lot of time, even like with not so happy feelings of even anger, of a lot of feelings, that because we get like real emotions on what is going on, and we also get frustrated, like you said, on the uses or misuses of technology. So it's a huge challenge that we have in front of us on how to move forward with the proposals, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting you said, you know, so many of these really well done, perfectly created, you know, focus groups. They do it so perfect that it's so easy to fall into this trap, like you said, of this happiness, this faux happiness. We're being marketed, and they're telling us exactly what we need, and they're hitting all of our right emotional buttons. And it really takes a curious person to break out of that and to say, wait a minute, I don't want to be marketed. And it's interesting because, and I'm going to segue this into virtual reality, into going into a socially virtual world, which, you know, our product, Sensorium Galaxy, and how, when I met you guys and I heard what you're doing, I thought, wow, what we're doing, while it's music and dance, which are beautiful things, and it's avatars, it also has the ability to make us all the same, and at the same time go into this socially immersed world, this digitally created world, and actually get down to the nuts and bolts and talk about and see what's going on out there. and not, you know, we all need to go home and have a warm meal and a place to sleep. And it gets tired, you know, like you said, and I get tired of always being concerned about, oh, why is this person sleeping on the street? What's going on in some of the cities in America, this chaos. And people are a lot of times afraid to even talk about this. But once we can remove ourselves from our body and remove ourselves from the consequences of being me, but in a virtual world, I can actually start to talk about things that I might not talk about as the real me. Because now I have my shell, my avatar. And the moment I begin to talk about those things, am I changing me? Am I unpackaging my own fears of being socially conscious? And I mean, this is something that can completely revolutionize and evolutionize what you're doing.
Amazing, man. I don't know, Pablo, if you want to share something on that point. If not, I can, a lot of things that I would love to share also.
I just want to share something that about the last point, and I can jump a little bit about this one as well, because I really believe in this tool as something that we can build our Robin Hood strategy to help people and to change things. But all about the find the other thing. For me, it became probably the most important project we have here. You know, build the team that can build those solutions, can build those platforms, can really change the game is the most important project. So find others for me became my everyday life. You know, looking for people and try to see the potential, try to bring them in, you know, and so this is something that I want to share with you.
Amazing, man. Amazing. Yeah. That's the way we feel, and that's why Pablo is the pilot and he has the place that he has in the company. Yeah, because it's all around him, to be honest. Probably it's not the most comfortable thing for him, for me to say this, but that's his role, you know, like a lot of things are like a gravitatory field around what he's doing for the past 5 years. And something that you said in your last comment, my friend, it was like around identity and around entertainment. And I think that is very interesting what you're saying. One point around entertaining, we really think that the moment of entertaining just being an empty practice of self-pleasure and indulgences, sorry, excuse my English, please.
That's perfect.
We really think that era is gone, you know, that was the 20th century, you know, like that was around, like just trying to get involved with entertainment only for the pleasure of yourself, forgetting about what you are doing because you hate your job. That's toxic, man.
Yeah.
We really think that that's toxic. That's why we are developing projects like Artbeat or like Varacure or like CrowdHack that we can share something later on. But what we are trying to do is how we can merge entertaining and impact in a way that can take care of our mind, our soul, our body in some holistic way, on trying to give response to a new era, you know, like a new century, a new focus on entertainment. So what you guys are doing with VR, with this human perspective also, and this parallel identity that you're thinking about, like how free can I be when I'm playing with an avatar or with a virtual representation of the self. And that takes us to the second point about identity that I wanted to share something that is like, who is ruling the inner narrative of the self? Right. You know, like who is ruling that? Who is writing the narrative of the self? How is the system and the economic and the social system is writing the narrative of what we consider ourselves? And technology is totally enabling at least alternative narratives of that interpretation of the narrative of the self.
Right.
So there's already a huge freedom, at least like almost an existential freedom that we can experience on this
absolutely.
On this digital landscape, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, like you say, I mean, there are so many. In the past, we were limited to you have a book, you read a book. You have a magazine article, you read a magazine article. You have a library, you go to a library, and slowly we expanded our horizons, our intellectual horizons. Or we didn't. You know, I don't call people stupid, I call them intellectually lazy. Because it's 2020, and you can't be stupid. You have a choice. Either you can educate yourself, or you can just be intellectually lazy. And like you say, we can either take the pill and be happy and just accept, okay, we're all happy. Or we can entertain ourselves by making life better. So like you said, this empty, hedonistic, go and party till you drop and think about nothing and, you know, throw the plastic in the garbage and it goes in the ocean, then we're all interrelated. Everything's interrelated. So can we make changing and helping this world the new entertainment? And if that's difficult, some countries it's not possible. That's called a civil society. Some countries don't welcome that. So if we had to do this in a virtual, a socially virtual, or through technology, and like you said, we're already freeing ourselves by finding common voices. Honestly, I've always felt, I'm personally Catholic, I don't know, but I've always felt the Catholic Church, with such power, was missing such an opportunity to reach so many people. And I think that Pope Francis is doing a pretty good job at conveying something to people who maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago would never have thought the way they're thinking today. He's slowly moving that envelope. So can we, and please tell me, do you see you guys playing more of an active role using virtual reality in bringing people to, you know, bring them to the lake and don't teach them how to fish? I don't know. There's that. What is it called? Teach people. Don't give them fish. Teach them how to fish. But you know, do you see this as being a possibility, a vehicle for bringing people in and moving the envelope to a better, socially more responsible?
Oh yes. Can I share something that I love about virtual reality, augmented reality, and all these tools? Is that the rules that we have here in the physical world sometimes, or most of the time, don't apply.
Yeah.
So imagine for us, we are building something now that is like a virtual stage for any kind of art performance, okay? So imagine that you have this little kid that sings like a bird. It's perfect. Everybody enjoys to listen to her, okay? But she stops every time the same street in the Santa Monica, whatever corner, in front of Starbucks. Sorry about Starbucks. I'm nothing against the Starbucks. But because of her, that is a crowd of 200 people in front of Starbucks. Mm-hmm. Drink coffee and whatever is most. But what if we could change with the background? Because that's like hundreds of people creating content from this child, this kid that's singing, you know, that's trying to survive, like it's a busker.
Yeah.
She's a busker, you know, trying to make her way in the life. And what if we give her a tool that will kind of play a different game, you know, that you change the background. Suddenly it's not Starbucks anymore. It's this Joanna's Coffee, the new unknown, you know, cafeteria in Santa Monica. That why we change? What can we do with this kind of tool? You know, we can redesign the way we share attention, we share even money, you know, sure. we share engagement, we share community, because this virtual world now is interfering in the real world. Yeah. Because, you know, somehow she can stand up in the front of Bank of America, doesn't matter. And you can see rebel banks, welcome, you know, in the content, because most of the people will consume the content that is online. Yeah. And because of virtual reality now, we are interfering in the physical world. So this is what we love. We study in Storm. How can we bring this like virtual tagging, virtual background replacements to the game? Sure. You know, like imagine a TikTok or Instagram that you can change everything.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
But you're not hostage anymore. You know? So this is what I love.
A rebalancing of value. So we're in a
Yes.
sense taking the value from them. Because
Exactly.
like you said, we are prisoners in this massive infrastructure of content, of value. Everything we do, we're giving someone else value. And they're using what we give them to create more value. And we're being left behind. Yeah, that's amazing. I never thought of that, actually. That's awesome. Yeah.
100%, man. Let me jump in with something that Pablo is saying. I don't know if he's too shy. I also know that he was having some connection problems. But like he's actually talking about, is not only theoretical, you know, he's talking about the project that we're launching, like probably in 1 month. Is the one that we are partnering with Sensorium, and we're going to have a live demo with Snoop Dogg and a lot of people that are like super cool to help us. And we're talking about this. It's just a simple live video performance app in which you're going to have, like, we don't care to say, it's like super similar to Instagram TV or even TikTok or whatever, but this is the catch. The thing is that when you go live and you're about to perform in this application, you need to choose how much of your box office you want to share. So you're going to be receiving tips along when you're playing, because it's only a live performance app. So when you receive the tip, you preset how much of that donations or that tipping or that supporting you want to share. And then also you choose who you want to share that with. So at the same time that you're playing or you're performing, you're already collaborating with some impact-oriented project. So that is the kind of thing of playing for impact, you know? So we're actually doing it. So, and we really hope that it's going to be live in probably 1 month or two. So for next year, it's going to be a tool that is going to be there. Like you said, like people are not going to have the chance anymore to just, I don't know, to go into a mainstream media and not getting anything and just being like user-generated content without any kind of reward. Right.
I mean, it's amazing. And obviously, please do give us information about that. You know, when we upload all this stuff, and later on, we'll put all your information and any information you want to give us about that event. Sounds awesome. We will put it up. But that is amazing, because we are, I mean, okay, you know, I don't know what the situation is in South America, but here in Europe, and every time you go onto a site, you have to click accept the cookies, you know, let them track me, let them market me. And every time you do that, I realize I'm giving away value. I'm giving away something. And the fact that you guys you're splicing it, you're cutting it up, and you're saying, wait a minute, this is our value. And this takes us into the use of blockchain and, you know, cryptocurrencies. And again, I am not a Bitcoin person. Bitcoin is, to me, that's just value for individual. What is the Bitcoin actually doing for society? Really, it's making some people extremely wealthy and other people wanting to be extremely wealthy. It's always creating that. So with your project, I don't know, you guys don't have a token. Do you have any plans to be linked with a token and blockchain? What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, amazing, huge. Brother, I have to say your insights are very rich, man. Like there's a lot of things that I can work with what you're sharing. So it's a pleasure to be here in this conversation. Blockchain, wow, it's in cryptocurrencies. It's a huge subject, but let me say something about what you say, and I like your view on, or your take on Bitcoin, you know, and around all the hype around the speculative market. We, of course, 100%, that's not the main core of what we're dealing here.
Sure.
But what about what it was originated in the first wave of cryptocurrencies? And it was like the overlayer of the internet of value. Like, how are we going to not only store, but create value?
Yes.
Like, and how are we going to understand the abstraction of the abstraction of the merchandise in the internet era? and about a few things that you said, and we have a few tokens. We haven't been public about that,
Okay.
but we already have like more than 3 that we can share. But and to give some proper response, for example, in Artbit, what we are talking about, this project that we are going to be able to play for impact, we're going to have an inner economy that is going to be blockchain based.
Oh, okay.
And the idea, so the idea is to, because and that is a way of not paying extra money to the intermediates and
Sure.
that you need to use if you're dealing with donations, you know?
Yeah.
If you're dealing with donations, first of all, there's a huge regulatory system that is very hard to tackle and is very different on each country, and then you're going to have to deal with the App Store in the middle or like Google Store. And so if we play with some inner coin that eventually is going to have a blockchain representation, we can give to the audience, first of all, they don't have to pay extra fees. They will have transparency on their transactions, and we are going to have a reliable system in which how are we going to create value inside this platform. So that is a way that actually the first framing of the product was how to mine with your camera. Like how every time that you use your camera, like why can't we understand that as a mining practice, you know, as a mining experiment? Like every time that you take a photo or you record a video, you're creating value. So that is the case, the use cases that we are finding interesting around the blockchain environment. And it's not necessary all the hype around the speculative market. You know, we are not into that 100%.
That's amazing, because in a sense, what you're doing is, you know, everything's been about earn money, traditional value, and then use it to consume, buy, consume. And we've overconsumed, we've overbought, and at the same time, that consumption has led us back to the point where just by living and breathing and walking in the street, we're in a sense, again, creating this value for someone else. So what we're doing here is we are, and I see your project can go in the direction of creating value by sustaining. So by sustaining this life, by sustaining, look, there's not enough jobs in this world for human beings.
True.
There's a lot of poverty. People, the US is having huge problems right now in cities. Retail is going away post-COVID.
True.
And these Americans have no jobs. And so what I see, obviously, and also I wanted to mention something about definitely your project with Snoop and Matt Sorum, Snoop Doggy Dogg, Snoop Dogg, whatever, it used to be Snoop Doggy Dogg, Snoop Dogg, could definitely be done also virtually. So again, just to let you know that this is something that can definitely work into what you guys are doing going forward. Linking, from reality to the social reality, social virtual reality. But we're getting to the point where, time-wise, we have about, we're in the phasing it down mode. We could go on. I think we could talk about this for 3 more days, because I love this stuff. And especially what you're talking about, value and using technology to turn it on. Look, these guys, these big corporations gave us technology that we now use to retake back our power, to reestablish ourselves. This is awesome. Projects like Storm are leading the way. We want to become a vehicle for you guys to keep this message going. So please, tell us, Pablo, Mariano, what are your immediate plans in the next 3 to 5 months, hopefully post-COVID, and where do you see yourselves and Storm in the next, let's say, 3 to 5 years?
Wow, amazing. It's hard to say, and especially because we're recording. No kidding. But actually, we really see, like, we are moving forward pretty hard on medicine and healthcare, because we know that is one of the main pillars of even of society, you know, and the way that not only healthcare treatment is being administrated by the globalized and center powers, And not only that, we are trying to make an alternative, but we're also talking about the knowledge, you know, and how the knowledge is related with power and with economy. Because if you see the amount of patents that are just located in the US, and how and what is the percentage of the price when you're paying for a medication, what part goes to the patent and what part goes to the small labs development, and what part goes to the community, and how expensive is that for the people that are really suffering, literally suffering in that context. That's also something that is very interesting for us. So ViraCure is a project that we're moving forward, like we're working for more than 2 years, but we're going to go live probably by the end of this year, beginning of the next. That is something that is going to be in the center of our attention for the next years.
Okay.
For sure, we're working with Hospital das Clínicas in Sao Paulo. That is the largest public hospital in America. So we are very proud of being partnering with them, and also having some hope that the private sector and the public sector can maybe have some connections or some points of interest that we can get along, you know, and try to bring on a solution that can bring, again, in the healthcare system, but also in the knowledge, and how are we going to store knowledge, and how are we going to administrate knowledge in this value layer that we are talking about. So health is definitely one, and entertainment and culture is another big pillar for us. And we would love to partner with you guys. And actually what you say about ArtBeat and going VR and trying to find like new layers of that project, like playing for impact in a virtual reality environment, that would be amazing, man.
Mariano, anything we can do going forward? We launch next year. Yeah, we're here, you're there. We're definitely, it's one world that's bringing together. Pablo, if I can ask you just to maybe quickly sum things up, and then, you know, we'll be...
I think he's down.
He's down?
I think he'll...
Oh, okay. Okay, then. Well, then, Mariano, thank you very much. This has been awesome. We will put up all the information about your projects. Any additional information you want to send to us, please send, and we'll include it in our sending around our social media stuff. And yeah, but this was awesome, and thank you so much from giving us your time from your morning in Buenos Aires. Yeah.
Thank you, my man, and thank you, Sensorium, and like everything that you're doing, guys. It's also super amazing to give us also time to share in your super mega project that you're doing up there. So let's stay in touch, please.
Sure,
and thank you for your valuable and deep insights, man. It's not like you're just shooting questions. You're totally open for thinking with us here live, man. So
I love this thing. Thank you very much, Mariano. Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, so we heard from two amazing speakers. We saw one, Pablo Martins and Mariano Lopez from Sao Paulo and Brazil, Sao Paulo, Brazil, and Buenos Aires, Argentina. And amazing project, social impact. Obviously, VR is here to change the world also. Social VR, social virtual reality. Sensorium Galaxy coming out next year, 2021. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We'll see you again. Ciao.